Okay, we've just gone to the lunch break at the Undercover Policing Inquiry. Opening statements, day one of Tranche 2, Phase 2. I did a video earlier where I mentioned about what the opening statements of David Barr Council's inquiry were. So since then, we had two very short statements. One from Peter Skelton on behalf of the Met Police, where he made loads of fresh apologies, repeated previous apologies. He apologised to TPS, which is the cipher for Bob Lambert's son, who was born as a result of the abusive sexual relationship that Bob Lambert had with Jackie whilst deployed undercover, one of four relationships he had. There was an apology to the Roland Adams family and the Monville family for the intrusion of undercover officers into their lives following the death of their family members and the role of the police in that. And there was another apology. What was another apology? There were so many apologies, I can't bloody remember which was which. Yeah, I mean, maybe that was just repeated. The other one was just repeated ones, which were from the opening statements to phase one of tranche two. Yeah, incredibly short. I didn't find there was nothing particularly. The Met Police don't accept the ignorance about relationships claimed by the managers, which I thought was quite notable. He also, he underlined that the Met Police's position that Andy Coles did have a sexual relationship with Jessica between 92 and 93. He accepted that Bob Lambert was considered to be an example of the SDS at its best at the time. It was the family of Michael Hartley. That was the other apology. Was to. There was no apology, but they were profoundly disappointed by the evidence of Trevor Morris, Carlton King, as is also known by a lot of people. I think we were all profoundly disappointed. I think we were profoundly disappointed in the existence of Trevor Morris, let alone how he behaved during the questioning. Though I think disappointed is a fairly low way of saying it. Then that was followed by Oliver Saunders. Now, Oliver, he didn't turn up. He wasn't there when he was meant to be, and they had to go and find him. So we had another break then before he turned up. I mean, I wish they hadn't. Oliver Saunders continues to be the worst person at the entire hearing, all the hearings. I mean, not including the undercover officers he's representing, I suppose, because at the end of the day, he's just representing those officers and their views. I get the impression he kind of might think these things himself, mind. He's fucking awful. He is fucking awful. One of his main submissions today was was about how they shouldn't always be referred to as sexual relationships, because in some cases it was just oral sex. It wasn't like sexual relationships as most people would know them. So you can't call that sexual relationships, because it's just it's like one night stand is just it's the Bill Clinton defense. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Oh, I didn't think you meant oral sex counted. I mean, it literally is absolutely fucking pathetic. He complained that members of the public were not treated in the same way as police officers were giving evidence, which I thought was hilarious. Somehow that the people who committed abuses against members of the public should be treated the same way as the members of the public who received that abuse. He claims that there shouldn't be, that those the people who were in the groups that were infiltrated, who were not directly in contact with an undercover police officer, shouldn't be giving evidence at all. It's obscene, genuinely obscene, really quite disgusting. He said that his clients were very upset that that they were being sneered at for simply being police officers in a different era. And the use of two-tier, which, I mean, as I think people are well aware now, the term two-tier is a bit of a racist dog whistle about how supposedly, according to the far-right commentariat in this country, somehow fascists who burn down hotels that asylum seekers are living in and assault people for being from an ethnic minority are treated far worse than people who walk on demonstrations against the mass murder of Palestinians. And that somehow that the over policing of the racists is a sign of a two-tier system. I mean, it's absolute bollocks. The fact it's been repeated by Oliver Saunders really just shows how disgusting the undercover officers he's representing are, and by the same admission, how morally reprehensible he is as a person to repeat these disgusting talking points. It was really foul. I'm tempted to go and boil myself during the lunch break because I've had to listen to him. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other things. I mean, some ridiculous shit about like how purely peaceful groups could end up being violent, even if they're being entirely peaceful. I mean, maybe it was just a blind rage that he causes in me from when I'm watching this and watching him give evidence that, like, maybe I missed something he said, but I don't think so. I'm just like kind of trolling back through the written submission which went with his opening statement, and it seems, yeah, absolutely. He says that there's some, that the police officers were needed to target these entirely peaceful groups because there still could end up being violent events that they were involved with. I mean, it's one of those things of, like, yeah, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, it's possible that aliens exist. Lots of things are fucking possible, Ollie. You fucking dipshit. Yeah, I mean, like, I do not know how anybody could listen to his evidence and take him seriously, or take any of the officers that he's representing seriously. Certainly, I don't think anybody, the public would. Maybe judges will. Who knows? Anyway, enough of him. So it was just those two. Which meant there was even though David Barr went on for the full 2 hours, which wasn't expected until about 10 minutes before the start of the hearing, or I mean, maybe it was expected then, but they hadn't told anybody else. And there was a bunch of changes. We ended up finishing slightly early. I mean, only like 10 minutes early. It's not a huge. I mean, the way that Sir John Mitting was talking about it, you'd think that we just, we ended up with like a few days extra to spare because. Sorry, because it was finishing 10 minutes early. But yeah, so we'll be back at 2:00. I'll be live tweeting. Follow me over there. I'll do another video later. Cheers.